For helper, dedicated disciple of Minister Farrakhan and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, student minister, Abdul Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, we give him praise and thanks for coming in the person of Master Fard Muhammad and raising up in our midst the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and granting to us out of his grace the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I would like to greet you all with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. How you all feel this morning? All praise is due to Allah. Brothers and sisters, I want to start by saying that I'm a student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I pray this morning that I'm able to share with you what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan shared with me and all of us that he got from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad that transformed our lives for the better. So I would like to thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for being my teacher. When I was a high school student, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan came and spoke in the city of Atlanta. I was a senior in high school at the time. And, you know, how can I say this? At that time, my thought was to get it cracking with white folks. That's what I wanted to do. Some of y'all was like that too. Some of y'all was scared to be like that, right? So after reading the autobiography of Malcolm X, I wanted to join the Nation of Islam after reading autobiography. But after learning so much about our history, I had a chip on my shoulder like most young black people, right? And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan came. Now, I was lying to people saying I was a Muslim because I read autobiography of Malcolm X, just like some of y'all, right? Man, I'm a Muslim, right? So I was lying to people telling them I was a Muslim, right? And then, just so happened, senior year, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan comes to speak in Atlanta. And all my friends asked me, man, are you going? Well, I've been lying to y'all the whole time, right? So of course I gotta go, right? So I get my ticket and I go hear the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And when I went to hear the minister, I had on this long Malcolm X t-shirt. It was down past my knees, right? And cause Malcolm X, that was my man. And I had a brother airbrush on the t-shirt a star and crescent on the front, and then on the back of the t-shirt, he airbrushed F the Klan, right? Now, I grew up in Atlanta. Y'all might not understand that. So I go to hear the minister in April of 1990 at the Omni, and he did the lecture, Added Up. Right, yeah, that's the lecture that okay, so all praise is due to Allah. So when he finished that lecture, and he talked about add it up, what America owes the black man, and if you add it up, you owe us the whole damn country. That was all I needed to hear. All praise is due to Allah. So now, I left the Omni, and I thought, in my mind, that as soon as I walked out, downtown Atlanta was gonna be burning. Cause that heat that man just dropped, ain't no way we not getting it cracking as soon as we leave up out of here. But when I got out there, people was getting in their cars going home. I was confused. I'm like, I came to get it cracking. Did y'all hear what this man just said? I got on the bus and went home. And later, and I'm not gonna give y'all the full story, but later, now I have to say this. So that night, the brother gave me a pledge card. I don't know who the brother is. And I filled the pledge card out and gave it to the brother. And I said, brother, are y'all gonna call me? And he said, brother, we gonna call you. And guess what? They never called, but I'm here, so all praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. So I wanna thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for being my teacher and being my brother. I wanna thank Minister Ismail Muhammad, the student minister here, the National Assistant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, for giving me an opportunity to be with you all this morning here at Mosque Mariam. I want to thank all of the students in the ministry who came before you all this morning to help with the program. I would like to thank all of the sisters and brothers in the Nation of Islam as well as my family. And I would like to give a special thanks to the mighty FOI, who have been going out in the streets of Chicago, fishing our brothers and sisters into the Nation of Islam. All praise is due to Allah. So that they can get a word from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality in America. So you know that you as black people have never had an opportunity in your 464 years in America. You never exercised true freedom, right? You never had an opportunity at having justice, right? And you never had in America equality. So since this man is the #1 preacher of freedom, justice, and equality, and those are the 3 things that you are searching for, you turn on the television. Every day, a new black person is murdered on television. And what's the cry? The cry is justice. Have you received justice? Did you receive justice from the day that you stepped foot off of the boat from the Middle Passage? From that day all the way to today, have you received justice? Has the white man always been the enemy of justice for the black man and woman? Was it true yesterday? And it's true today. You turn on the radio and black people call in and whine and complain about what? About them not receiving what? Justice. So the #1 enemy of America is the man who is the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality for the black man and woman. That man is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You as black, all praise is due to Allah. We as black people, we don't have freedom. And unfortunately, we don't want freedom. I know I do want freedom. No, you don't. Let me prove it. Freedom is the ability to act with responsibility. With freedom comes responsibility. That's not what we want. What we want is what the white man gave us. He gave us an illusion, something that looked like freedom, but it really was not freedom. What the white man gave us was license. License is the freedom to act without responsibility. No, Muhammad, no, yes. Let me give you an example. You see a fine woman, right? Or you see a fine man, right? And the night y'all meet, or a couple of days later, right? Y'all have sex, right? 2 or 3 or 4 times, maybe more, right? Next thing you know, you pregnant. What does the man do? Okay, am I talking to black folks? He disappears, right? Because we want the freedom to have sex with whoever we want to have sex with, right? And if somebody tells you to be chaste, right? To hold yourself until you meet the person that you want to spend your life with, man, you look at them like a ham and cheese sandwich, right? You look at, man, nigga, please, I ain't doing that, right? Because that's how you looking at me right now. So you want to engage in the act, but you don't want to fulfill the responsibility that comes with the act. So then you have children and you want the white man to take care of your children. Now, most of us, a lot of us, grew up in broken families, right? And most of us as young black men ask them about their father, ask them. And they have so much resentment and hatred, right, towards their father because their father was not in their life, right? And then those same young black men walk down that same road that their father walked down. The same with young women. We condemn our parents for the condition of our birth, but then we end up doing the same thing. So as black people, do we want real freedom? Real freedom, you have to be responsible. You understand what I'm saying? It goes hand in hand. The reason that we don't want to separate from white folks is because we want them to take care of us. And we don't think that we have the ability to take care of ourselves in a land of our own. You understand? So you don't want to be free. We don't want to be free. We just want to have license. We want to be able to go to the club, smoke a pound of weed, right? That's why can't nobody wait until January 1st. Because the white man has legalized weed, didn't drop no charges, but legalized weed. Didn't make sure you can make billions of dollars. All the white folks gonna make the money, but weed will be legal, and you don't want freedom. You just want the license to be able to smoke weed, play video games, have sex, and go to sleep. And then when the Muslims come and tell you that it's a trick, you look at us like we crazy. Some of y'all got a blunt in the car right now. Like, man, as soon as Muhammad done, I'm slicing the swisher, rolling the blunt, and getting high, right? So now, but we cry for freedom. You understand? So, equality, we don't have that, right? You turn on the news, and they said by 2053, black wealth will be at 0. What are we talking about? You mean in 33 years from now, black wealth in America is going to be at 0? Then there was another article that came out that said, I wish the minister's picture was up here because I'm teaching on the teacher of freedom, justice, and equality. Another article came out and said that it would take 228 years for black people to catch up with white people financially. What are we talking about? That's not equality. So if we live in a system, right, that is based on denying black people freedom, justice, and equality, then the number one enemy of that system is the man that God raises to bring black people freedom, justice, and equality. Are y'all with me? All praise is due to Allah. That is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his teacher, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Can we go to that first slide with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and President Barack Obama? I know y'all seen this picture before, right? Okay, it's coming. Now, I want to just address real quick the elephant in the room. Because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, there it is, in 2005, took a picture with Barack Obama, right? And the brothers that were there, they held the picture because they knew if white folks saw Barack Obama, who was a senator at that time, right? Now I want you to keep in mind that the system that we live under is a system that does not want freedom, justice, and equality for the black man and woman. And that the man who is the preacher and teacher of freedom, justice, and equality is the number one enemy of a system like that. So now, if this man took a picture with anybody else, white folks wouldn't have lost their mind. Why? He could have took a picture with T.D. Jakes, right? He could have took a picture with Al Sharpton. He could have took a picture with Joe Osteen. Any preacher, any leader, if he would have took a picture, it wouldn't have been a problem. But he took a picture with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and white people went crazy. And they admitted that if this picture would have came out before the election, that Obama, there was no way he could have won. What does that tell you? I want you to think critically about a black man. If you take a picture with him, then you can't rise in the white man's world. Why? Because that black man is the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality for the black man and woman. But now let's go to the next slide. All praise is due to Allah. Now, this man, Alan Dershowitz, I know you don't know who the hell he is, but he said that I wouldn't have campaigned for Obama if I knew about the Farrakhan photo. What? Who is this man that you can't take a picture with him? You can't be in the room with the man. They want to know, did you ever hear one of his lectures? I'm going to tell you why in just a second. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now, here's the problem. You can take a picture with a pedophile. You can take a picture with a man that is a pedophile and molests 13 and 14-year-old girls and invites grown men to his house and on his plane and on his island to have sex with 14-year-old girls. You can take a picture with him, and there's no outcry from the white man about his white brother taking a picture and being the lawyer of and the friend of a serial pedophile. I wish somebody was listening. I'm trying to manifest to you the double standard that white folks have with one another. Are y'all listening? All praise is due to Allah. So now you can take a picture with Jeffrey Epstein. And all of these white folks, all of them, the high society white people, they all flew on his plane. Trump, Clinton, poor Prince Andrew, he can't even do an interview without being manifested as a child molester. Now, Alan Dershowitz, who had a problem with Obama taking a picture, was at Jeffrey Epstein, the serial pedophile, at his house, where they had 14-year-old girls giving grown men massages and having sex with them. And then Alan Dershowitz in an interview said, look, I got a massage, but I didn't take my underwear off. You can't even make this stuff up. So now, you mean to tell me there's no condemnation for him, but you want us to condemn a black man who took a picture with his brother? No, sir. So now, brothers and sisters, the reason I'm bringing this out is because everything that we have learned from white people, everything we have learned has been a lie. We getting ready for Christmas. Let me take that back. Some of you are getting ready for Christmas, right? We not getting ready for Christmas. All praise is due to Allah. Oh, Muhammad. Oh, Muhammad. What's wrong with Christmas? This ain't that lecture. This is not the lecture where we break all that all the way down. But you know Jesus wasn't born on no December 25th. You know that the Christmas holiday has nothing to do with Jesus. Oh no, Muhammad, Jesus is the reason for the season. Okay, so then when you go to the mall, why is there no Jesus village at the mall? When you go to the mall, you don't go sit your children on Jesus' lap. You go sit your children on Santa's lap. So how are you telling me that Jesus is the reason for the season when it don't have nothing to do with Jesus? And if you took your child to the mall and it was a Jesus village and you said, baby, we're gonna go sit on Jesus' lap, your child would look at you and be like, mama, what the hell wrong with you? I don't wanna sit on no Jesus' lap. Where's Santa at? I wanna sit on Santa's lap. Are y'all with me? Make me sick talking about sit on some Jesus lap. Come to the mall to be with no Jesus? They lied to you about everything. They told you that they found us in the jungles of Africa and that we were uncivilized. That we were savages swinging from trees in Africa. They ain't even no jungles in Africa. How could you believe the white man's lies that you came from the jungles of Africa and there's no jungles in Africa? The jungles are in South America. The majority of Africa is savanna or grassland. But you believe the lies of the white man. That's why you call each other African booty scratchers. They want you to think that the Egyptians were white people. They built the pyramids. And because we were never critical thinkers, it took 50 years to build a pyramid. You mean to tell, and Egypt is in Africa, right? One of the hottest continents, right on the equator. You mean to tell me that them white folks was in the sun for 50 years and nobody died from skin cancer? They can't even go out in Chicago without putting on sunscreen, right? They get cancer in Chicago, but they wasn't getting cancer in Egypt from building the pyramids. Then you walk inside the pyramids and all the paintings are still there. How much knowledge did those people have to make some paint to last 5,000 years? But the paint lasted 5,000 years. You walk in the pyramid and it's black people on the wall. And then the white people will tell you, nah, them ain't black people. They just ran out of white paint, and then you accept that. Man, get out of here. They told you that Christopher Columbus discovered America. Come on, man. 50 million people are already here, and you discovered America. Now, if I discover $20 in your pocket, you're not rolling with that, right? It'll be a fight in the mosque, right? So everything that we taught or have been taught by white people has been a lie. They told you that Mary was a virgin, right? No, Muhammad, no, Muhammad. She was a virgin. Right, she was, up until the point where she got pregnant. Once she got pregnant, guess what? She was no longer a virgin. Ain't no sense in arguing about it. Because a woman cannot get pregnant without a man. I know, because I've been dealing with black folks a long time. You say God can do anything, right? He can do anything within the laws that he set up. Do you think some sperm came down from space and got Mary pregnant? Exactly. If you see sperm anywhere, right? You're not touching it. Get on the bus and see something on the seat. You getting off the bus, right? I'm gonna wait for the next bus. Okay, this is why I can't be at Mount Mariana. Mary was a virgin. She was a righteous woman. And she fell in love with Joseph, who was the father of Jesus. That's not hard to believe. The Bible tells you, when you read the Bible in the book of Matthew, it gives you the lineage of Jesus through Joseph. Are y'all with me? The Bible says that he was the seed of David according to the flesh. Joseph was the one that was related to David. And he was declared the Son of God according to the Spirit of holiness. But we didn't read that. We go by the Bible, right? We see it on the shelf and we go straight by it. But we don't go in the Bible to see what does the Bible say. So Mary was a virgin until she got pregnant. They lied to you about Easter. Come on, Muhammad, you just told us they lied to us about Christmas, which they did. Not Easter too, of course. Why does the date change every year? Every year the date of Easter changes, you never thought twice about it, right? But we know that Biggie was killed on March 9th, right? And every March 9th, what do? We turn up the music, right? And blast it down Lakeshore Drive in honor of who? In honor of Biggie. We know Tupac was killed on September 13th. The date don't change every year. We know that Malcolm X was assassinated on February 21st. The date doesn't change. So why would the date for Jesus change every year? Come on. And I'm gonna use the same example I just used. When you go to the mall on Easter, right? You got your little canary shirt on. You got the little flower, right? You got your pink suit, right? And you go to the mall. Who you taking the picture with? You taking a picture with Jesus? Or you taking a picture with the Easter bunny, right? When y'all do the Easter egg hunt, you looking for eggs, right? And rabbits don't lay chicken eggs. What are we talking about? But you mad at me because I'm exposing the lies that the white man taught you. All praise is due to Allah. They lied to us and said that there was 3 gods in one. God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost. No, Muhammad, that's what I grew up learning. Exactly. We grew up learning lies from white folks. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you can't make 3 into 1 unless you make the 1 1/3. How could God be all powerful and then be a third? How could he be all knowing and a third? You read the Bible, Jesus is not under any illusion. He says that his Father sent him. The one who sends you is always greater than the one that got sent. Let me prove it to you. When you was growing up, right? You was playing Xbox and your mama called you, boy, come in here. I need you to go to the store, get a carton of milk and a pack of cigarettes. And you better have my change when you come back. What? And what did you do? You went to the store, you got the milk, right? They don't let you buy cigarettes no more, but when I grew up, you could buy cigarettes. You could be 10, right? And get a pack of Newports. So now, the one that sends you is always greater than the one that got sent. Now imagine you was in the house playing PlayStation, right? Smoking a Black and Mild. And you said, Mama, come in here and go get me a bag of chips, some hot flamings, and a juice box. And you better have my change when you come back. Most of y'all scared to even think like that, right? So if Jesus is telling you that God sent him, and we know that the sender is always greater than the one that got sent, then we know that God can't be a third of the power. He's all of the power. Do you understand what I'm saying? All praise is due to Allah. So now, we're talking about the godfather of blackness, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He's more than just the godfather of blackness, though. Are y'all with me? The way the white man rules you is through the lies that he taught us. He put the lie in the mouth of our foreparents because he knew we would trust them. Then when they told us the lie, we would believe it because we're thinking it's coming from a reliable source, but it's really coming from the white man. Are y'all with me? Okay. Don't get too mad. Let me ask y'all a question. No liar wants to be exposed. Jeffrey Epstein was a serial pedophile and a liar. And when he was caught the first time, Alan Dershowitz came and was his lawyer and got him this deal where he didn't even have to go to jail. He could just spend the night in jail. Think about it. Man, if you stole a Twinkie from 7-Eleven, the white man is not gonna let you get a deal like that. No, you gotta go to jail. This man didn't have to go to jail. He just had to spend the night in jail. Do y'all understand? I don't think y'all understand. So, but the thing that happened is when the truth was exposed, then he could no longer hide. Are y'all understanding? I'm just using him as an example because anytime a liar is exposed with truth, the liar can no longer hide. Are y'all following me? We know Trump is a liar. I know y'all like, man, I want you to talk hard about Trump. I'm not going to, because unfortunately, Trump is what black folks need. It's sad, all praise is due to Allah. It's sad, but it's true. Because we've had the greatest leaders of any people in the history of this country. And we're still in the same condition because knowledge alone is not going to be enough for black people to stand up and take our rightful place as the leaders of the world. God came and raised up the most honorable Elijah Muhammad to give us the knowledge to make us not just the leaders of our community, not just the leaders in Chicago, not just the leaders in America, but the leaders in the world, and I'm gonna prove it. Let's keep it moving. Can we put up the slide with the two pictures? It's so much to cover. No, not those two pictures. We done with Jeffrey Epstein and Alan Dershowitz, who didn't take his underwear off. Can we put up the picture of the Harlem, godfather of Harlem, and the godfather, there it is. So now there's a television show called The Godfather of Harlem, which is about the life of a gangster in New York by the name of Bumpy Johnson, right? I don't know if you all have seen it. But in the television show, they have a, not just a scene, but there's a character that represents Malcolm X, right? There's a character that represents the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, of course, Bumpy Johnson. And whenever white people put us, when I say us, I'm talking about the Nation of Islam. whenever they put us on television, whenever they put us in movies, right? Whenever they put us in magazines and newspapers, there's always a motive behind what they do. Now, I just told you, and you agreed, that we have not been able to exercise freedom, justice, and equality since we've been here. And we're living under a system that denies us freedom, justice, and equality. And the number one threat to a system like that would be a man that teaches freedom, justice, and equality. Y'all with me? So now the question you have to ask is, what kind of attack would the enemy put up on the teacher of freedom, justice, and equality? Are y'all with me? I just want you to think about it because we're going to talk about it. So now, this show has in it a character, of course, Forrest Whitaker plays Bumpy Johnson. You have in that a brother who plays Malcolm X, a brother who attempts to play the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. It was a feeble attempt, but he tried. Now, but the thing I want to bring out is this. If we can go to the next slide. The writers of the show, these are the writers. Yeah, not black folks, right? So what you all have to understand is that there's always a hidden hand behind whatever we get as black people. And if it's dealing with the Nation of Islam, then there's absolutely a hidden hand. Are y'all following me? So what you have to realize is that when you're watching the show, which is complete fiction, okay? Historically inaccurate, right? It's entertaining, right? But it's historically inaccurate. The words that you hear coming out of the mouth of the characters are not their words. They're the words of the writers, right? Are y'all with me? Okay. So now, Paul Eckstein and Chris Brancato, these are the writers of the show. But now we know that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in his work among us, has had for the last 40 years a controversy, right, with the Jewish community. And they've done everything within their power. Now, they are the most powerful subset of white people in America. That's just a fact. They've done everything within their power to destroy the reputation and the name of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. They've been unsuccessful. So they use Hollywood as one of their devices to destroy the character of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now let me read this quote from Joel Stein. Listen to what he had to say. He said, I have never been so upset by a poll my whole life. Only 22% of Americans now believe the movie and television industries are pretty much run by Jews, down from nearly 50% in 1964. The Anti-Defamation League, which released the poll results last month, sees these numbers as a victory against stereotyping. Actually, it just shows how dumb America has gotten. Jews totally run Hollywood. Now, if I said it, I would be an anti-Semite, but I didn't say it though. Joel Stein said it, who's Jewish, and I guess he can't be an anti-Semite. But the bottom line is this, brothers and sisters, truth is truth, right? So now, let's go to the next slide. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad is the godfather of blackness. Now I know you saying, man, I've been going to school all of my life and I ain't never learned nothing about no Elijah Muhammad. Every year for Black History Month, they never told me about no Elijah Muhammad. But now you want to tell me that he the godfather of blackness? Man, what are you talking about? There's a reason. I just want you to think. There's a reason why you never learn about the most honorable Elijah Muhammad during Black History Month. You learn about the same people every year. You learn about Rosa Parks, right? Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, right? And all you learn is a slogan. Rosa Parks sat on the back of the bus. Harriet Tubman freed the slaves. Malcolm X fought back. Martin Luther King had a dream. That's it. If I asked you, take out a sheet of paper and write down everything you know about Black history. Once we got past them 4 lines, guess what? We'd be like, man, what? Hey, Joe, you got something? So now, a godfather is a person who is regarded as the originator or principal shaper of a movement, school of thought, art form, industry, or the like. Y'all got that? That's what a godfather is. So now let me read to you this quote from this book called An Original Man, The Life and Times of Elijah Muhammad. Tell me when y'all are ready. Okay, that's not everybody. Tell me when y'all are ready. Okay, that's a little bit better. So now, can we put that on the... Thank you. Listen to what the author says. No other historical personality has had the kind of prolonged impact on Black consciousness that he has had, and no recent group in the African American community has promoted, largely by example, economic self-help, cultural regeneration or redefinition, and the moral living more vigorously than the Nation of Islam. The author goes on to say, the Muslims were Black long before it became fashionable to be labeled as such. I don't think y'all listening. And the Black Power movement and all subsequent African American protest styles, from the rhymes of the nationalistic rap group Public Enemy to the raison d'etre of the Million Man March, are undeniably offshoots of the legacy of Elijah Muhammad. All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. So now, brothers and sisters, the author is just telling you that everything in Blackness that we have benefited from, the root of it is what the most honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. So now, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is not just the godfather of Blackness. He is that, and we're gonna prove it, right? With actual facts. But he's not just a Black leader. I don't want y'all to think he's just a Black leader. He's so much more than a Black leader. Let me read to you this verse from the Bible. Listen to what the Bible says. Muhammad, I thought that Elijah Muhammad told y'all that the Bible was a poison book. So why you gonna quote the Bible? Wait a minute, he did say that. He did say that the Bible was a poison book. But does that mean we shouldn't use it? Just because it's a poison book? We use poison all the time. Did you brush your teeth this morning? Hopefully you did, right? If you didn't, don't say nothing, because we don't want to know. But if you brushed your teeth, guess what? The toothpaste that you use to clean your teeth is poison. You flip it over on the back and it says if you swallow it, call poison control, right? Did you use mouthwash? The mouthwash that you gargle in your mouth, guess what? That's poisonous, right? But you use it to keep your breath fresh, right? Do you use soap when you take a shower? Or do you do like the white people do and just get in and let the water hit your legs? I'm not making this up, I saw it on Twitter. Let the water hit your legs and get out, right? Or do you use soap? You don't eat the soap, do you? Because the soap is what? The soap is poisonous, but you use it because it's beneficial. How did y'all get to the mosque today? Did you drive? Did you put gas in your car? Is gas poisonous? But you used it, didn't you? When you are writing and you make a mistake, you grab some whiteout Is the whiteout poison? But you use the whiteout to cover the mistake. Are y'all following what I'm saying? So we use poison all the time. You wash your dishes. What do you use? You use poison. You wash your clothes. What do you use? Okay, y'all can say it. You use poison, right? We always use poison. Now, if you were bitten by a snake, right? And we were bitten by a snake, a poisonous snake, right? In order to get the antidote for that poison, you have to go and find the same kind of snake that bit you, so that the doctor can create an antidote, not from a different snake, but from the same snake. You understand what I'm saying? Well, if we were bitten by the white man who has been a snake and used the Bible and made it a poison book, then the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, if he's from God and wants to heal the condition, then he got to use the venom to make the antidote. I wish y'all was listening. So now listen to what the Bible says. It says, God said to Abram, know for certainty that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not theirs, where they will be enslaved and oppressed for 400 years. But I will also judge that nation whom they will serve, and afterward they will come out with many possessions. So now there's only one group of people in the history of the world that have been in bondage for 400 years. And that's the black man and woman in America. So when God gets ready to free us, he has to send a messenger, right? If God is gonna judge America or the nation where we were slaves, he gotta send a messenger. Because God never judges without first doing what? Sending a messenger. Let's go to the Holy Quran. Listen to what the Holy Quran says in chapter 28, verse 59. And thy Lord never destroyed the towns until he had raised in their metropolis a messenger, reciting to them our messages, and we never destroyed the towns except when the people were iniquitous. So if the Bible is telling you that God is going to judge the nation that enslaved us, and you can't have a judgment without a messenger, right? Then we should be looking for what? The messenger to proclaim the judgment. Now, we're different as black people in America. We're different than any other people who received a messenger. Are y'all with me? We're different because we just were not separated from God, right? God sends messengers when the people become separated from him to bring them back in harmony with his will. So we were not just separate from God, but because we experienced 400 years of slavery, we were separate from ourselves. So the messenger in the end of the world can't just bring you to God, right? He has to give you the thorough knowledge of self. But guess what? They're one and the same. So now let's prove it. Wait a minute. Let's go to the next slide. In Esquire magazine in 1964, listen to what, most of us weren't even born in 1964, right? In 1964, they had a cartoon in Esquire magazine that's Charles de Gaulle, who was the president of France. And if you see the little man right here, y'all see that? With the fez, right? That's the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And Charles de Gaulle is saying, y'all got the cordless mic? Charles de Gaulle is saying, my countrymen and fellow crooks, this fellow N meaning the N-word, is giving us a bad name. We must liquidate him so that we can devote our time towards a development of a glorious future, mainly me. So now this is 1964, and in Esquire magazine, just so happened In that same year, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad met with all of his laborers in Chicago. And this is what he had to say. They had multiple copies of the magazine there. This is what he had to say. He was so bold to put this in his magazine, saying that if they could liquidate or kill me, they would have a future, a glorious future. Think over that. They were bold enough to put it. They had my picture there and pointing directly at me. It is not so hard to distinguish me there because he had my fez on me. That was in 1964. The question is, why would this man, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, a man who you never learned about in Black History Month, right? Why would he be the one that would rob white people of a glorious future? Can we go to the next slide? We're gonna break it all the way down. So now listen to what is in this book, The American Directory of Certified Uncle Toms. He says, the Nation of Islam's leader throughout most of the 20th century was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Along with his ideological children, has wreaked more havoc on the machinery of white supremacy than any other identifiable source. Now, you and I, right now, all praise is due to Allah, we are the victims of white supremacy. When Laquan McDonald was shot down in Chicago and they covered it up, that's white supremacy. When they murdered Sandra Bland and they covered it up, guess what that is? That's white supremacy. When they killed Tamir Rice as a 12-year-old boy and the cops got off, what's that? That's white supremacy. When they redlined you so you can't move into white neighborhoods, what's that? That's white supremacy. When you go get a car loan and they give you triple the interest rate of the white folks, what's that? That's white supremacy. When the brother's on the train and he gets arrested for eating a sandwich, what's that? When a sister is in her house and the police come to the house unannounced and she's in the house and they shoot her through the window, what's that? When Philando Castile is in the car with his daughter and his girlfriend, and the officer stops the car and asks him, do you have a weapon? And he says yes, and he's carrying his weapon legally with the FOID card. And the officer shoot him and kill him in front of his girlfriend and his daughter. What's that? That's white supremacy. You've been a victim of white supremacy your whole life. When they built the projects in Chicago, because they didn't want black people moving into white neighborhoods, so they said, we'll stack them on top of each other, and they built Robert Taylor from 35th to 55th. And they tricked you to get in there. They gave you a free stove and a free refrigerator and a free first month rent. And the black people filled up the projects. Then they brought heroin in, and we started murdering each other, right? The Henry Horner, right? Robert Taylor, Rockwell, all of them. All of that was white supremacy. Cabrini Green, right? Now you go where Cabrini Green used to be. It's called River North. And if you black, they looking at you funny. So all the projects are now gone, and they replaced them with $100,000 condominiums for white folks to live in. What is that? That's white supremacy. You understand what I'm saying? When you wake up in the morning, you got 20 tickets on your car. Guess what that is? Right, you know what I'm talking about, right? I got pulled over by the police. I'm the principal of the school. I drive around the school every day just to make sure everything is good before I leave. I'm driving around the school. I make a turn, and this is in Austin on the west side, and the police pull me over. And the white officer gets out of the car, and he said, yeah, I pulled you over because you didn't use a blinker. I could have said a whole bunch of things, right? But I didn't. So when white police do that, what they expect is you don't have insurance, right? You riding dirty. So the blinker is the pretext So that when they pull you over and you don't have insurance, your license plate is not registered, they give you 15 tickets. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't get no tickets, but that did happen. So now, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the author is saying, has wreaked more havoc on the machinery of white supremacy than anybody else. Why did you learn about him during Black History Month? Let's keep it moving. Then he goes on to say, it was the Nation of Islam that engineered the stunning reversal of the black man's self-perception and his perception of his white tormentors. It alone has become the most strident and formidable challenger to the philosophical dominance of white supremacy. All praise is due to Allah. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings change the way that you think about yourself, which is the greatest change. All praise is due to Allah. I'm going to prove it to you from the Bible. I know you're waiting for white Jesus to come back. He's not coming back. The Jesus that you're looking for as a black man and woman is the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I know you're not ready to hear that, but I'm going to prove it with the Bible. All praise is due to Allah. In the Bible, there's a verse that says, behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. That's in the Bible. You was in church on Easter hearing that verse. And you was with the white Jesus and none of your sins was taken away. You left the church and got in a dice game, lost your money and shot your brother, and then you had the Jesus say, Jesus help me murk that nigga, right? Right or wrong? We in church and every imaginable sin, right? Everyone, we engaged in them all. We drunk, right? We high, right? We fornicators, right? We adulterers, right? Murderers, pimps, everything. We everything in the church except a Christian. It's just a fact. I'm sorry if I'm hurting your feelings. So you being with white Jesus didn't take away the sins of the world. But now if you look at Malcolm X, who heard the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, let me say this. We're not judging nobody who lives in the white man's world. Because the white man's world, the Bible says that we were born in sin. You was born in a world that was already doing evil. You understand? We're not responsible for the evil of the world. We're the victims of the evil of the world. So the Bible says we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. What do you mean? Shaped in iniquity. Meaning you went to public school and the white supremacy of the public school system shaped your mind. Your mama sat you down in front of television and the white supremacy of the stupidity on television shaped your mind. You turned on the radio and the stupidity on the radio shaped your mind, shaped your self-perception. You went to college and got 20 degrees. And broke as hell, right? But the college education, or what you thought was education, misshaped your mind. You understand? So you were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. And the white Jesus can't take the sin away. I know you heard Kanye's album, that didn't take the sin away. But Malcolm X was a drug dealer. He was a pimp. He was a robber, broke in people's houses, right? He was a criminal. He was not beneficial to himself or his people. He was a parasite in the black community. Are y'all following what I'm saying? Like most of us. Then he went to prison. And when he went to prison, the prisoners gave him the nickname of Satan. Wait, on the street, you mean on the street, he was just dirty red. He was just red, right? But then, like some of us, when we go to prison, we become worse. Prison can make you worse, it can make you better, right? In the case of Malcolm, it made him worse. So the people that were in prison, the rapists, the murderers, the pimps, the pedophiles, the serial killers, the bank robbers, the gangsters, right? They looked at Malcolm, and he became so bad in prison that they called him Satan. I don't think y'all understand. And Malcolm's life was saved by the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He completely transformed his life. Why? Because the Lamb of God takes away the sins of the world. All of us were sinners and did all kind of evil before we came here. Every last one of us. Did you, Muhammad? Absolutely. Every time I went to the store, not sometimes, not half the time, not 99% of the time, every time I'm getting something on a 5-finger discount. Every time. You understand? I worked at fast food. I worked in the drive-thru. And when customers were disrespectful, I can't even tell you what I did. That's just, that's why I never go to the drive-thru till today, because karma is something else, right? I'm going in, I gotta see what you're doing. Not going to the drive-thru, because I know what I did. I know when I worked on the register, right? I'm just talking about me, right? Oh, I know when I worked on the register. The register was not gonna come up short. Not the register. But my pockets wasn't gonna come up short either. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna say this is not exaggeration. This is 100% actual facts. I worked at McDonald's. I worked at all the fast food. When McDonald's has the Monopoly game, y'all familiar with that, right? You're gonna think I'm exaggerating, but it's the truth. The reason that they put the Monopoly pieces on the side of the cup is because of me. I know you're saying, Muhammad, you lying. Hold on, stop. When I was in high school, I worked at McDonald's. And back then, they just gave you a little Monopoly piece, if you remember, right? And you open it, you got free fries or whatever. So me, everything's on a 5-finger discount. So I go in the walk-in freezer with a black trash bag, because if you get Monopoly, you get $1 million. I go in the walk-in freezer with a black trash bag and dump all of the Monopoly pieces in the trash bag. I'm not making this up. I take them home, right? Because me and my brother, we trying to hit Monopoly. You understand what I'm saying? So I take the Monopoly pieces home and we open all of them. And if I had hit Monopoly, I probably wouldn't be here right now. Because ain't nobody hitting Monopoly. You understand what I'm saying? So what McDonald's did to prevent those types of things from happening, they put the Monopoly piece on the side of the cup. They probably got a picture of me somewhere, like this the Negro who did it right here. Okay, let's keep it moving. So the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the Jesus that the Bible is talking about. I know that's hard for you to believe. Hold on. Let me give to you a couple of more verses. Listen to the Bible. The Bible says in Matthew 16:28, right? Truly I say unto you, there are some of those who are standing here who will not taste death until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Now that can't be Jesus of 2,000 years ago. I just want you to think, if Jesus is giving a speech 2,000 years ago, and he says, look, y'all that's listening, y'all not gonna taste death until you see the kingdom. Everybody that was listening to that speech is dead. So it can't be the man from 2,000 years ago. I just want you to think. That's all I want you to do. Okay, wait a minute. We got a few more verses. Listen to this. Hold on. This one's not on the screen. Listen to what Matthew says. Blessed are you when men shall revile you, persecute you, and speak all manner of evil against you falsely for my name's sake. Man, if I say that I'm with Jesus, I'm not getting persecuted. I'm not getting reviled, right? I'm not getting all manner of evil spoken against me, right? But when Obama took the picture with the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, was he reviled? Absolutely. Was he persecuted? Absolutely. Did they speak all manner of evil against him? Absolutely. When our sister Tamika Mallory, the powerful black sister that was unafraid to stand with the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, who's been standing for black people for 64 years, when she was just at Savior's Day, was she reviled? Was she persecuted? Was all manner of evil spoken against her? Okay, Keith Ellison, who's scared to say that he was in the nation, right? Because he wants favor from white people. Was he reviled? Was he persecuted? Did they speak all manner of evil against him? So who's the real Jesus? Not the white man. All praises due to all I want you to do is think. Listen to this. In the book of John, he came into his own, and his own received him not. Right? The light shined in the darkness, and the darkness understood it not. We've been teaching black people how long? 80 years, right? I had a few more Bible verses. Hold on. I'm just trying to, listen to this in John 7:15. Tell me when y'all ready. The Jews asked when Jesus started teaching, how has this man become learned, having never been educated? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad went to the 4th grade and taught the masses, right? You can't see him because you blinded by all of his students, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. The Jesus of 2,000 years ago was not uneducated. He was well educated. You understand? He was educated in Egypt. Man, is that time already? Okay, let's just wrap it up. We got to move on. So now, listen to this. Can we go to that next slide? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad is hated, as is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because they represent the end of the white man's world. Because the white man's world is rooted in white supremacy. You can't go and get a gun and defeat white supremacy. You understand what I'm saying? When I was in high school, that's what I thought, that we could get it cracking, right? And just by getting it cracking, we was gonna win and defeat white people. I'm sorry. As long as the white man's thinking is in your mind, then you will never defeat the white man. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not about getting a gun and fighting white people, beating up white people, protesting on the street. That's not what it's about. Because if you don't change the mind of black people, then you'll never defeat white supremacy. Because white supremacy is at the root of the white man's world. It's the root of his thinking. And unfortunately, guess what? It's the root of ours as well. You understand? So now, can we go to that next slide? Some of y'all mad because I said that his teachings represents the end of the white man's world. Do y'all know what that is? All the young people like, man, what the hell is that, Muhammad? Right. That's a payphone. There was a time when you had to go to these to make a phone call, right? Your mama drop you off somewhere, she might give you 50 cents, right? And she said, baby, call me. I just need to make sure you safe. Y'all wouldn't even know how to use that. The young people, right? Now, is anybody mad that we not using payphones no more? No, we not mad because payphones no longer exist. Because what replaced the payphone was better. You understand what I'm saying? When an old idea is replaced by a new idea, right? Nobody cares because the new idea is better. Y'all follow me? There was a time when cars didn't have seat belts. And then people would stop and go through the windshield. And the windshield at that time didn't have that layer of plastic on it to prevent you from going through the windshield. So your body just would be hanging in the windshield, right? And the windows on the side of the cars were made out of plate glass. Now you break the window, right? As some of us have done, right? And what happens? It just crumbles, right? Why? Because so many people died from the plate glass that they replaced it with a better idea. Now, is anybody mad? No, I want to go back and have a car with no seat belts. There was a time when cars didn't even have windshields and bugs just got in your teeth. You want to go back to that? No, we don't care as long as the new idea is what? It's better than the old. Let's go to the next slide. So now, can you put it up a few more, click it a few more times? One more. Now, y'all remember those big bubble gut TVs, right? Some of y'all still got one. And come on, man, throw it away. Like when you get ready to move, who's carrying that? Who's carrying that when you get ready to move? Throw it away. I know it's, no, Muhammad, no, I had it since. There was a time where there was only 3 channels on television, right? 3 channels. Some of y'all cussing right now. And at 11 o'clock, TV went off. And they put the American flag on the screen, and they played the Star Spangled Banner until 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning when the news came on. So now, are we going back to a time where there was no remote control? Right, you don't even remember those times. The children were the remote control. If you had brothers and sisters, y'all had to take turns standing next to the TV. And you had to change the channel until your parents found something that they wanted to watch. And if the TV was a little staticky, you would get the antenna, right? You put the fork in it or wrap it with aluminum foil, right? So now, who wants to go back to a time like that? Right, nobody. I know you don't want to go back to a time where there was no remote control. I know, but no black person is trying to do that, right? Because if you can't find a remote, you're trying to fight somebody, right? You got 50 remotes and can't find none of them. So now let's move on. So all I'm saying, brothers and sisters, is this, that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, his teachings are the end of white supremacy. His teachings destroy the old idea of white supremacy. So we don't have a problem if that idea is played out, right? All we want is what the new idea is. And what is the new idea? A world based on freedom, justice, and equality. All praise is due to Allah. So now, all praise is due to Allah. This man is the godfather of blackness. I'm not going to be able to finish everything. We only got 30 minutes, so we're going to have to do lightning round. So now, tell me when y'all ready. So much to cover. I like that. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad, not only did he give us the knowledge of self, right, which we're going to talk about, he wrote this book called Message to the Black Man, right? And all praise is due to Allah. He wrote many books. That was the first one. And it's a book that you need to read. I'm going to quote it in a second. But what I want to do first is I want to show a video of a brother who received this book from Nipsey Hussle real quick. So can y'all check this video out? And then I'm going to come back with the quote from Message to the Black Man.
Nothing, so that's a terrible loss. But as they've always said, every loss is a lesson. What book did Nipsey give me to read? Message to the Black Man, by Elijah Muhammad. Yeah, it was Message to the Black Man. But, you know, like, just like I value Killer Mike.
All praise is due to Allah. Now, that was T.I. telling the world that Nipsey Hussle had given him a book. And then one of the people on the live asked him, well, what book did he give you? And he said that he gave him this book, Message to the Black Man. So now, if you listen to T.I. now, T.I. is like a lot more revolutionary than it used to be, right? I wonder why. Because the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is the light that produces the revolution. There is no revolution without light. All praise is due to Allah. The revolution is not with the gun. That's not the real revolution. The thing that causes all of the planets, all 9 planets rotate on their axis at 1,030 37 and 1/3 mile per hour. But the thing that causes them to rotate is the light from the sun. When the light hits the earth, it causes it to rotate at 1,037 and 1/3 miles per hour. And when that rotation in 24 hours makes it a day, right? But then when it makes a complete circuit or revolution around the sun, you call that a revolution, right? The complete circle around the sun. Are y'all following me? But what is the root cause of the revolution around the sun? It's the light from the sun. So it's light that produces the change. And that light comes from the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Let's keep it moving. Listen to this. Listen to what the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said. Anyone who does not have the knowledge of self, that's black folks, is considered a victim of either amnesia or unconsciousness and is not very competent. The lack of the knowledge of self is a prevailing condition among my people in America. Gaining the knowledge of self makes us unite into a great unity. Knowledge of self makes you take on the great virtue of learning. That's page 39 in Message to the Black Man. As black people, we've never been given the knowledge of who we are. This is why every generation, we call ourselves something different than the previous generation. Are y'all with me? So there was a time we called ourselves colored, right? And you know, because the NAACP is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. You've seen the pictures of the white water fountain, right? And the colored water fountain. But the word colored is not a word that describes black people, because black is the essence of all color, right? When you put all the colors together, you have black, right? And when you remove all the colors, then you have nothing, right? You have blank, right? Which we call white. Are y'all with me? So colored is not us, but colored is what happened to us. When somebody tells you a lie, right? What are they doing? They're coloring the truth. Are y'all with me? Okay. They called us Negroes, right? Negro is a word that means something that is dead or mentally dead. Are y'all with me? This is not a word to describe black people. Such is not our nature, I would say. But when the white man brought us over here, the first slave trader, his name was John Hawkins, first English slave trader. He brought us here in 1555. The word Negro came into existence in 1555. So the question you should be asking is, if the word Negro or nigger can only be traced back to 1555 when they brought us in slavery, what were we before 1555? What were we called then? What did white people call us before 1555? That's a good question. We're going to answer it in just a second. So we're not colored, right? We're not Negroes, right? We're not niggers. I know what you're saying. Yes, Muhammad, we are. Because Tupac said, it means never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. Okay, well, you're not that then. Never ignorant? We talking about, who we talking about? Exactly, right? Getting goals accomplished? We not that. Tupac was trying to flip it and make it mean something good, but we not that. We're gonna try to be that, but we not that. Let's keep it moving. I thought that we was African Americans. How could we be? When the entire planet Earth, when white people started to explore the world, everywhere they went, there was black people there already. Everywhere they traveled, there was already black people standing there looking at them. You understand what I'm saying? So why would you limit yourself to just Africa? I'm an African. You mean you only in Africa? No, we everywhere. You go to Australia, it's black people in Australia. You go to China, the original Chinese are black people. You go to what they call the Middle East, the original Arab, right? That's what we call them. The original Arab is a black man. You go to Central and South America. The original people of Central and South America are black. The original people of North America are black. The original Hawaiian is black. The original man in the Philippines is black. Everywhere the white man went, black people were already there. Why would you limit yourself to Africa? All praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. America is named after Amerigo Vespucci, a European explorer. Africa was named after Scipio Africanus, a Roman conqueror. Why would you call yourself after two white men? Let's keep it moving. So now, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said we're none of those. He said that we're black. Before slavery, white people referred to black people as Moors, and Moors is the Portuguese word for black. Because why did the most honorable Elijah Muhammad say that we were black? It is because black is universal. Are y'all with me? Everything in the universe comes out of darkness into light. Let me prove it. Where did the universe itself come from? The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the universe, and the Holy Quran bears him witness, was created from triple darkness. The white man says that the universe came from dark matter. So what is he saying? The same thing that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said 60 years ago. Are y'all following me? Now, the color black represents, oh, it's up there. Not as we've been told, something that's dirty, something that's sinister, something that's evil, something that's filthy, right? That's the lie that we've been told. But the truth is that the color black represents power. It represents authority. Are y'all with me? Let's see if we can prove it. Can we put up that next slide? We got to go fast. One more. Now, when you go to church, right? You get high up in the church, you become a priest, right? Then they give you a black robe to put on, right? Because the black robe represents your authority in the church. Are y'all following me? Your power in the church, right? Let's go to the next slide real quick. When you graduate from college, they give you a black robe, right? They give you a square hat for your circle head, right? So now the black robe is supposed to represent the power of the knowledge that you attained while you were in college. Are you with me? The square hat on your round head represents 360 degrees of knowledge, because the square is 360 degrees, just like your head is 360 degrees. But you didn't get 360 degrees of knowledge in college, right? You got a bogus degree and couldn't get a job. Let's keep it moving. Judges, no, let me see. The highest ranking member of the KKK is the Grand Wizard. And the Grand Wizard wears a black robe. The low-level KKK people wear white. The Grand Wizard wears black because the black represents his power over everybody else. Are y'all following me? You go to court. I've been, I'm sure you've been as well, right? And what does the judge wear? He wears a black robe. And when he walks in, everybody got to stand up, right? And they say, the honorable judge so-and-so, and you never have a problem with calling that white man honorable, right? You never have a problem with standing up for him, right? No problem. But if we call the most honorable Elijah Muhammad or the minister honorable, it's Negroes that have a problem with that. I don't understand. But I do understand because we victims of white supremacy. Let's keep it moving. The highest belt in martial arts, right? You come in as a white belt. I mean, you have no skills, no knowledge, right? Nothing, right? You go up in rank, and then you get to the black belt. Once you get to the black belt, there is no other level past that. You just get another degree of blackness. Are you following what I'm saying? Because it represents the power that you have in the martial arts. When you have money, right? The reason that the Friday after Thanksgiving is called Black Friday, not because black people are gonna be shopping, because I've seen a lot of videos with white people fighting each other for TVs. It's called Black Friday because the merchants are gonna make so much money off of our ignorance. When you make money, you're in the black, right? When you lose money, you're in the red. Y'all understand? When you want to absorb the energy from the sun, you get solar panels, right? And the solar panel is black because we know that dark colors absorb sunlight. Are y'all following me? So black doesn't represent filth, evil, sinister, dirty. It represents power and authority. But we've been hoodwinked, as Malcolm said. We've been bamboozled. Let's keep it moving. So now, brothers and sisters, I have to skip over some things for the sake of time. And so what I would like to do is just read a few more quotes, and then we're going to close it out. Can we do that? All praise is due to Allah. So now, brothers and sisters, listen to what James Baldwin said. We're talking about the godfather of blackness. Now, I need y'all to understand that everything that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad did or attempted to do, the United States government worked against him every day that he was working among black people in America. Are y'all listening? Every day that he was working among black people in America, the United States government worked against him, and they have unlimited resources. Are y'all following me? Now, if you are planning something, I'm talking about we black folks, right? If we plan something, and the mailman is walking down the street, and the mailman says, man, that ain't gonna work, then we just gonna collapse, because the mailman came against you, right? This man had the entire United States government with unlimited resources against him, and they didn't stop him from doing anything he wanted to do. What does that tell you? He's the Jesus of today. But let me just bring this quote from James Baldwin, because I know you might not be ready for that yet, because we might still be stuck on white Jesus. Listen to what James Baldwin said. Elijah Muhammad has been able to do what generations of welfare workers and committees and resolutions and reports and housing projects and playgrounds have failed to do. To heal and redeem drunkards and junkies, to convert people who have come out of prison and keep them out. We're talking about the work of Jesus. We're talking about the Lamb of God taking away the sins of the world. Are y'all with me? Now, all praise is due to Allah. Let me prove it real quick. In physics, there's a formula, right, that says power equals work divided by time, right? Meaning the more power you have, the more work you can do in a shorter amount of time, right? If I have to walk from here to downtown, it's gonna take me a while, right? Because my legs don't have that much what? Power, so it increases the time. If I run from here to downtown, I'll get there faster than walking, right? Because I'm exerting more power, which decreases the what? Time. If I get on a bike from here to downtown, right? I'm gonna get there quicker than walking or running because the bike is more powerful, and it what? Decreases the time. If I get on in a car and go to downtown, right? Then I'm gonna get there in a shorter amount of time because the car is what? More powerful. Are y'all understanding? So if this man did what generations of others couldn't do, if he did what generations of white folks couldn't do, generations of what black folks couldn't do, then how much power did he have if he was only with us for 44 years and did what generations couldn't do? I just need you to think. I just want you to think about it. Let's go to the next slide. To make men chaste and women virtuous, and to invest both male and female with the pride and serenity that hang about them like an unfailing light. He had done all of these things which our Christian church spectacularly failed to do. How has Elijah managed it? Because he's backed by God, and he's the Jesus of today. That's how he was able to do what the church that claims Jesus couldn't do. Let's keep it moving. Now, we're so blinded by the students of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad that we can't even see the teacher. Are y'all with me? But a teacher is known for his students, right? What does that tell you? The son of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, Imam Warith Deen Muhammad, he didn't agree with his father on everything, especially when he was younger. But when he got older, he agreed with his father on a lot of things. Because time causes us to see things that we couldn't see when we were younger. I know when I was younger, I gave my parents hell. I ain't even gonna tell y'all the stories, but I gave my parents a hard time. When I became older and had children, right?